Hey, this is Russ. Here it is Monday morning. Got up early to do this video. Now, typically I do the videos the day before and then I upload it and then you guys get to see it. But being that this was Easter weekend, I didn't get a chance to do it. And as you know, I didn't do a recording on Saturday either. It's Easter weekend. I'm not going to do it. So anyways, here it is Monday morning. It's about around 9:15 or so in the morning. Now, typically, in the past, I would be able to do a video, upload it to YouTube, and immediately publish it. But I don't know if you've heard from other YouTubers, but they may be telling you that, the upload time still is the same amount of time, but YouTube kind of holds it for a while and does some checking of things. And so that slows down the publishing time. So you're not going to see this, I know, at 7 o'clock in the morning, which is when I usually publish my videos, because I know a number of people get up early in the morning, watch it, maybe before they go to work. So I'm sorry for that, but it was Easter weekend, okay? And you know that I didn't do a video on Saturday either. So anyways, if I sound a little bit different this morning, is because I'm still half asleep trying to wake up, okay? But I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about this weekend and what was happening with my knees. Now, Sunday here in the Chicago area, we had low 70s, so we had decent weather. I think actually yesterday was one of the best weather days we've had since the spring season. So, being Easter, doing Easter things, but also afterwards, you have to get outside, right? So I decided to do a little bit of garden work because I know that I had put down a pre-emergent in the lawn, and I've talked about this before. And it's been a couple weeks now, and I wanted to put down a little bit more of another type of fertilizer thing that kind of cuts down on the growth of dandelions and things. So I didn't put a lot of it down, but I didn't want to burn out the lawn or anything like that. But I knew that I needed to put something down, otherwise we would probably have some dandelion problems. So I'm walking up and down the front lawn and up and down the backyard. Okay. Now we don't have a huge house. I know some of you guys have like 3/4 acres or something. We don't have something like that. We have your typical suburban home in the Chicago area, and so there's a certain amount of grass. So anyways, I'm walking up and down, and I didn't take a break. I didn't take a breather. I just kept going with the fertilizer spreader. Okay, and I was walking pretty good. Really, yeah, I was. And I think it's because I'm holding something. It's just like holding a shopping cart, right? You're kind of pushing this along, and I was doing it one-handed because it's not really that heavy. And I'm going up and down and up and down. I was like kind of surprised. I go, wow, I'm not even taking a break. I'm walking pretty decent. As long as I have something to hold, I'm walking pretty well. So I think anyone who would have seen me yesterday, and I know a couple of my neighbors were walking around outside too, they were probably surprised that I was walking pretty decently and I wasn't using a cane or anything like that. Well, okay, the spreader is kind of like a crutch too, right? Because you have something you're holding. So with all that walking and, not really having a problem with it, I also did some barbecuing yesterday. So you're standing outside, and this time instead of my smokers, I was on the gas grill. Okay, I made some chicken, a whole bunch of chicken. Usually when I make stuff like that, I'll cook a whole bunch of it and just refrigerate it, and then I'll be eating it the rest of the week. That's just the way I am. So I'm standing for that too. And then, of course, my wife decided to do some stuff in the kitchen, and some pop spilled. Okay. What do you guys call it? Pop or soda? She opened up the pop can, and not the can, the bottle, the 2-liter bottle, and it kind of sprayed all over the place. All right. So she cleaned off the stuff that was on the table, and some of it dripped on the floor. So I said, well, get me the mop and I'll mop the floor. So I did all that. So I did quite a bit of stuff yesterday. Well, I'm paying the price for it now. When I went to bed, I could feel it. I had a very restless type of leg, okay? And it's not in the leg that you think. Now, you tend to think that, okay, it's probably his operated knee, which is my left knee, the total knee replacement. It's probably that. Well, it was both legs, okay, and both knees. But the left knee didn't have the kind of pain that I typically associate, when you have bone against bone. It was just tired, okay? The right knee had the pain. What does that tell you? Yeah, the right knee still has issues. And I don't know if you guys feel this too, but I know before the knee replacement, if I would extend my knee or bend my knees, I could get it to pop, kind of like cracking your knuckles. Did you guys have that? I don't think I've ever mentioned this before. I could extend my leg and then my knees would just like like popping and cracking your knuckles. Did you have that at all? Let me know in the comment below. All right, comment below. Let me know if you felt that or had that happen to you before you had your knee replacement. Now, the left knee is just tired, okay? But it doesn't have that hurt. But the right knee does, which tells me down the road that right knee is going to need to be done. Now, I've been holding off as long as I can. Now, you also know, too, that I purchased an e-bike. Now, bicycling seems to have picked up in popularity since this pandemic, all right? But let me tell you something real quickly, too. I'm going to go off a little bit on a tangent here, so I know some of you will probably tune off at this point. But stick with me and listen to this so I can at least tell you why I'm doing what I'm doing, okay? I've always been a bicycle enthusiast. Now, I don't have the body shape of a bicycle enthusiast, all right? I'm very big, all right? And I'm very heavy, okay? I won't tell you my actual weight, but it's up there, okay? And so even though I've always liked the concept of having a bike and go bike riding, I really can't. I really can't because I'm too big. Now, I do go on the bike trails when before the knee replacement. I have gone on bike trails. This is actually my 5th bicycle that I'm buying. Yeah, in my lifetime, okay? Let me tell you a little bit of history and why this whole bike thing is an important thing to me, all right? Stick with me. Don't go away yet, all right? My very first bicycle was purchased for me by my dad. He bought it at a Chicago police auction. Yeah, he bought my first bicycle and my brother's first bicycle that way. Okay, and it was one of those banana seat bikes. You remember those things back then? You know, Schwinn had these banana seat bikes. I think they would call it crates or something like that. And then you put this big sissy bar in the back. That's what they called it, the big tall bar in the back of the banana bikes. Come on, you guys know this, right? And that was my first bike. It was made by Huffy, actually. It wasn't a Schwinn. But I always kind of wished I had a Schwinn bike back then. That was the bikes to have back then. Well, I didn't get one. Okay. And then later, as I got older, my dad decided to buy me a 10-speed, what we used to call a 10-speed. Now, today, we call them road bikes, right? Really thin tires. You got 10 speeds on the bike. But it was, again, an inexpensive bike. And I always saw my neighbors had better bikes and stuff like that. So yeah, a little bit of bike envy. So my third bike was after we moved to California. My wife and I decided to buy some bikes so that we can go biking around. I think it was Lake Miramar that we went to, and I don't know how far of a distance that is, 4 or 5 miles, something like that, around the lake, something like that. And it wasn't an expensive bike again. It was another 10-speed. We didn't bring my old 10-speed with us when we moved. And, I kind of said, well, I wish we had a better bike. But again, I didn't really buy an expensive bike. Well, this time around, moving back to Chicago area, I didn't move that bike back either. Okay, I sold it to the guys who moved us or helped load our truck to move back to Chicago. Okay, I just said, hey, do you guys want this bike? $20 if you want it. So the guy bought the bike. Anyways, my fourth bike, okay, is the mountain bike that you guys have seen before. I'll put another picture up here of it. I still have this bike. I didn't ride it much, maybe under 50 miles, I would say. So it's in excellent and perfect condition, okay? And my intention was to ride this bike, around the Chicago area and the like. But then I realized that my knees were having problems. So I never got a chance to ride it, and it's a pretty decent bike. It's not, it's not your most expensive bike, but respectable. It was okay. This time around, I bought an e-bike. Now you know that the reason I did this is because I said just before we started this whole thing with the knees that when I'm done with my knees, I want to go back on my bike and ride around the bike trail. I mean, if you think about it all, I have been a bike enthusiast without the ability to be a true bike enthusiast. All right. This is not a last minute thought on my part. This is something my entire life I've wanted to be able to go bike riding. I enjoy bike riding. I just can't do it. I'm big. My knees hurt. Okay. So this is the reason I bought the e-bike. All right. Now, my wife didn't allow me to buy this initially because she knew that I would probably just ride the throttle and let the bike move on its own. Okay. And you can do that. You don't have to pedal if you don't want. It's really like a miniature scooter if you think about it. All right. And I'm not talking mobility scooter. I'm talking regular electric scooter or a gas scooter. Right. It's kind of the same thing. But I wanted to get this because I actually wanted to get out on the bike and bike it. All right. But my fear was I can't get back. If my knees hurt, I'm not going to be able to get back, which means I can't go too far out because you got to ride back. Right. So this is why I bought the e-bike. And I have been researching this thing for the last 2 years. Just before my knee replacement, I started looking into it. And I've been talking about it for so long. Well, she finally allowed me to do it. If you watched the last couple videos, I talked about this e-bike thing. Last video, I think. And she allowed me to do it, so I bought it right away. Now, some of you might be thinking that was an impulsive move, but it isn't. It's 2 years into thinking. So I knew exactly what I was going to do and what I was going to get if I ever got one. All right. So I've been thinking it through, really, and I've been researching it. Now, I'll do a video later about why I chose this particular bike, why I, made these particular decisions, and how that's going to impact me. All right. But I wanted to let you know that today is the day that the bike comes in. It's Monday. And I think the shipping weight, according to FedEx, it's over 90 pounds. The bike itself is 69 pounds. But by the time you put accessories and junk like that on there, it's going to be up there. Okay. And I've got a bike lock. And believe it or not, the bike lock weighs like 5 pounds. Right? It's one of these U-boats, or some of them call them a D-boat type of bike lock. Well, those are heavy. Okay. So anyways, I'm going to go through all this stuff, and if you didn't watch the last video, and if you did, you probably already know, I'm starting a secondary channel called E-Bike Rehab. Now, why is this an important channel for me? Because this is the thing that's going to help me with my knees. Yeah. I'm hoping to rehab my left knee using it, but I also know too, by biking, my right knee is going to hurt. So it's kind of a rehab for the left, but a mess up of the right. Now, the one thing that's good is that you are sitting on the bike. Now, and I think that a lot of reasons why my knees are hurting is because of my weight. And so as if I was just walking, like many of you guys do a lot of walking and stuff, I don't do a whole lot of that. That's the one type of exercise I don't do a lot of, okay? I may go on like a recumbent bike or something like that because your weight is not being pushed down on your knees when you're biking. But the constant rotation and motion and stuff like that also affects your knees too. So, but if you're not pushing really hard, if you're having some help, and that's where the e-bike comes in, it's less of a pressure. Does that make sense to you guys? So the e-bike is going to help rehab my left knee, but it will probably eventually hurt my right knee, but I do need to keep it moving. Now, I know down the road I'm going to need to do a knee replacement for the right knee. And the one reason I think my knee replacement didn't go so well is because and I've mentioned this in the past, but if you're new, you may not have heard it. I didn't do a whole lot of walking or anything years before the knee replacement, really, because I've been babying my knees, trying not to hurt it as much, okay, trying to avoid the knee replacement and trying to avoid pushing it to that point. So really, I didn't walk a whole lot at all for years, okay? And I think if you exercise your legs and your knees and things before your knee replacement, your recovery time is actually better, right? So my thinking here with this e-bike is let it help rehab my left knee, but let it help give me the strength for my right leg so that when I go for the right knee replacement, maybe my recovery time will be better, okay? Now, if you take a regular bike and you're going up a little bit of hills and things like that, you know how hard it is to do that, right? And if you're biking for miles, you know how hard that does things to your knees. My hope is that the e-bike eases that, Okay. And I like to go outside. You know, I like outside stuff because I like going fishing and things. So this channel that I'm starting is not just about me riding around. Okay. It's rehabbing my knee and getting my right knee ready for a knee replacement down the road. Even if that means 3 years down the road, 4 years down the road, whatever, or even sooner. I need that exercise, but being heavy in weight, walking around is just irritating my right knee more, to the point where, you know, if I'm hurting so much, I'm not going to want to walk, right? So this is why I felt the e-bike was important for me, okay? It serves two purposes. It's something on a therapy level for my left knee. It's something of getting ready for my right knee and also getting me outside to enjoy the outdoors, okay? So follow along with me. If you haven't already subscribed to that channel, go ahead and do it in advance. All right, take a little bit of gamble that it's going to be a decent channel. Yeah, I mean, you know how I am. You've been watching this channel, so you know what it's going to be about. But you'll be able to see me doing things, and I'll be talking about my knees there as well as the bike. Now, the e-bike is very popular right now, so I know that channel should grow fairly quickly compared to Russ's Right. Russ's Right, nobody knows what that is unless you run into it, okay? Or if you're a knee replacement guy and you happen to do a search and you happen to run into some Russ's Right videos and you thought it was good and then you subscribed, okay? The e-bike thing is a little bit different. Just the fact that it's called e-bike rehab with the e-bike name in there is going to pop it up on the YouTube algorithm. So my full expectation is that channel will grow. It may take a year, it may take a year and a half, but it will grow, okay? But with your help, it'll grow quicker, and that's what my hopes are, okay? I'm not going to be doing like the typical person talks about their bicycles all the time. I'll talk about the bike and things too, because it's a bike channel too, right? But it's a user channel. It's how I'm actually using that tool to help me, okay? My goal is to hope that it drops some weight for me. I hope that it helps rehab my knees. And then on top of that, you get to see me go doing things, all right? This channel is mostly I'm sitting here and talking to you, right? You see the lake in the background all the time, okay? I'm going to bike around those areas. I'm going to go places. I'm going to take you fishing. I'm going to take you to different areas. We'll see things around my world, okay? So join me there, and that's the reason why. Now, more information about that stuff will be coming. Eventually, I'm going to wean that stuff off of Russ's Right. Initially, you'll see probably the first several bike videos. It'll duplicate here and also there. Watch it on both channels. I still need to build a certain amount of viewable hours on that channel for that channel to grow. But you could watch it here on Russ's Right if you want, but I'm putting it here just as a reminder to others that there's a secondary channel, and then eventually all of that content will not be here on Russ's Right. It'll be over on the other channel, okay? All right, that's about enough for today. I just wanted to give you guys some feedback of what's the reason for this new channel and what has been happening with my current knees. Yeah, hurting a little bit today. I'm going to build that bike hopefully today. And maybe by tomorrow, I'll take it out for its first spin. All right. Anyways, thank you so much for staying so long with me on this video. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow.